Well, cheers and howdy do, buckaroos, and we wish you a Merry Christmas as planned on my fake fireplace behind me. Anyway, got Santa over here, got the tree off to the side. You can't see it the way I angled the camera this time around. Anyway, so I made out like a bandit for office Christmas parties. This particular one was for our immediate office. The folks I work with on a daily basis was nice. It's interesting though because I'm like twice the age. I'm more than twice of most of the people in the office. I know some of them are wondering how I made a wrong turn in life somehow, but hey, sometimes you end up where you're supposed to be at a certain point in life, and sometimes it's not about the money. It's just about being happy and feeling fulfilled. But anyway, that aside, at the office Christmas party last night, Emily, one of the folks I work with, and I won't mention her last name for privacy reasons, but I did want to mention her first name. Emily got me these whiskey stones. I thought it was pretty incredible. So keeping a nice set, man. It had 8 whiskey stones, I believe, a nice little set of tongs, and 2 glasses. And these are perfect, neat glasses, perfect size for drinking neat. I dropped 4 stones in here. What you do with them is you get them in your freezer, put the stones in your freezer, put your stones in the freezer for a period of time, get them nice and cold, and then put them in your whiskey. What that does is it will drop the temperature of your whiskey without diluting your whiskey. Now, it won't necessarily ever get it to ice cold temperature, but it will lower it a little bit. To a nice, pleasant drinking temperature. So what I've got going on here is I decided to use I've got a small bottle here, a 375 of Rieger's Kansas City whiskey. It is a 92 proof whiskey. What makes this Kansas City whiskey and not a bourbon is it was founded in 1887 in Kansas City, Missouri. Jacob Rieger and Company was one of the largest makers of fine quality spirits in the Midwest, forced to close due to Prohibition. It took 95 years to perfect the resurrection of the iconic brand. Our Kansas City whiskey is a pre-Prohibition style whiskey consisting of corn, malt, and rye with a trace amount of 15-year-old Oloroso sherry. Now, it is the addition of that sherry that disqualifies it from being called a bourbon. The price point on that whiskey runs about $40 a bottle. And I got to be honest, there are 2 whiskeys that I think at that price point are my absolute favorite. One is this one here, the J. Rieger's. The other is also out of Kansas City. It is the Tomstown double oaked bourbon. Those 2 at about the same price point, just a hair under $40. In my opinion, including all major brands, are the best value at about $40. There is none better in my opinion. So there you go. The nose is absolutely beautiful for this particular whiskey. It's a lot of deep spice combined with a nice amount of vanilla. You're going to find, I personally get these almost a very dark, almost like a fruitcake cherry-like notes. It's a little sweet and dark cherries. You may find some other notes in there too. That's up to you and your palate. The one thing I like about both this whiskey and that Tomstown that I mentioned is the finishing spice, this barrel spice that you get at the end. A nice amount of spice that really balances out that sweetness. A nice amount of oak really, really dries it up beautifully. I really can't pick a favorite between the 2, to be honest. At that same price point, there's enough difference between the 2 where I like them both for different reasons, so I can't really say one above the other. But I think those 2 at $40 are the best $40 whiskey value if you like a bourbon or an American whiskey, bar none. Now, Emily got some advice from another member of our office who gave her the tip that Tom might like these. But it's just an incredibly nice set. So I was very touched that Emily put the thought into it, to get me this nice set of whiskey stones, because it is perfect. I don't have any. I had some years ago, and I kind of got lost in a move or two. Um, and so it's nice to have it. And you know what? It is the thought that counts, because not only do I love the stones, but the fact that somebody gave them to me makes them even better. So there you go. So thanks, Emily. Thank you, all the people that I work with. I work with a nice bunch of young adults, I suppose. Because I'm definitely the old man in the office. I was letting this sit a little bit. I didn't start this video right away because I wanted to see how cold it would bring that temp down. And it's really, it doesn't get it extremely cold. We don't get to ice temperature, but it does hold it at a particular temperature. I've noticed from the time I started the video to now, it hasn't warmed up any. So there you go. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, pervert wisdom, and again, once again, thank you, Emily, for these whiskey stoves. Just know that they will get used. This won't be like a sweater you give somebody that's going to end up in the back of their closet. These are going to see some action. Once again, one more time with a feeling. Got the fake fire going. It's feeling warm and toasty here. There we go. It's my TV, man. But I like the background, man. I like watching. Sometimes I'll sit in my chair and just watch it. I'll turn on my Spotify and just watch the fire. It just relaxes me, man. Brings me back to my youth as a kid watching our fireplace at home. Anyway, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, pervert wisdom, man. All right, good guy. Cheers, y'all.